Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of John Wooden's Playbook for Life and Leadership. I'm Maria Kutcher. I'm your UBS West Division Sales Manager, and I'm so pleased to have you here today to review and to go through the number 6 block in the foundation of success. And this is the self-control block that we'll be speaking about today. Super excited to hear from Coach Impleman on this particular block, because I think that I can personally use a little bit more self-control at times, working on it, right? So without further ado, I'm going to turn the mic over to Coach Impleman. Welcome.
Thank you, Maria. Exciting day, but I better keep my self-control. We have finished the foundation, the bottom of that pyramid. We are ready to move forward to the second tier. Self-control is the first block on the second tier. If you don't have it, none of the rest of the blocks will work. Coach Wooden, take it away.
The second tier, I placed 4 blocks: self-control, alertness, initiative, and intentness. You must have self-control in whatever you're doing. As a teacher of basketball, I tried to maintain self-control on the sidelines. If I'm trying to teach my players that if they lose their self-control, they're going to be outplayed, don't they have a right to say to me, Coach, if you lose your temper, you're going to be outcoached on the sideline? I think they have every effort to. Sometimes you have to work at keeping self-control, but you must maintain it to do well at whatever you're doing. I suspect we have golfers here. It does take a lot of time, it's expensive, and you probably shouldn't. But I know we do have golfers here. And if you lose your self-control, I know that the ball will be a little farther to the right or the left, or you're off the tee, or that 3-foot putt will seem about 10 feet if you lose your self-control. You have to keep your emotions under control to function well, physically, in whatever you're doing. But how about mentally? Decisions you have to make. How many of you have children at home, little children? They cry out for discipline, you know, not punishment, discipline. They want discipline. They want discipline. And discipline is to help, it's to prevent, it's to correct, it's to improve. It's not to punish. Be careful. Be careful. Don't antagonize. If you antagonize and you discipline, it might not bring the type of results that you'd like for it to have. But I think we all, even as we get older, we need discipline in certain areas, maybe in different areas than others, but it must be done with self-control. If you lose your self-control, I don't see there's any way that you can attain positive, productive results. So it's so important that you maintain self-control in the physical things you do and the mental decisions that you must make.
Wow, Coach, that is really great. I think this is really one area where I see a lot of great behavior from our advisors here at UBS. Most of the advisors I encounter when things aren't going well are pretty calm, cool, and collected. I must admit. There's a ton of fire drills in our industry, though, and the volatility of our clients as well, often results in dealing with clients and teammates with high emotions. So because we are human, I know that myself and others can sometimes falter. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what guidance you and Coach Wooden have for us here today. Back to you, Coach.
Thank you, Maria. The first part is practice self-discipline. A very important thing to practice self-discipline with is tone of voice. Coach Wooden gave me a wonderful poem called Tone of Voice. I want to share it with you. It's not so much what you say as the manner in which you say it. It's not so much the language you use as the tone in which you convey it. Come here, I sharply said, and the child cowered and wept. Come here, I said. He looked and smiled, and straight to my lap he crept. Words may be mild and fair, but the tone may pierce like a dart. Words may be soft as the summer air, but the tone may break my heart. For words may come from the mind, grow by steady and art, but tone leaps from the inner self, revealing the state of the heart. Whether you know it or not, whether you mean it or care, gentleness, kindness, love, and hate, envy and anger are there. Then would you quarrels avoid and peace and love rejoice. Keep anger not only out of your words, keep it out of your voice.
I really like that, Coach. Don't raise your voice, improve your argument. That's a great quote by Desmond Tutu. But another thing that this also reminds me of is tone of voice is not just in the spoken words. And especially now in the environment that we're in, working from home, the tone of voice is also very prevalent in email communication with clients and with coworkers. So we need to just be super cognizant of the tone of voice in our words, our written words and emails. We don't like, nobody likes the all caps, right? Because that literally is shouting right through an email. But and I haven't seen hardly any of that here, thank goodness. But again, this is I think this will also, everything that you say here is not just applicable in verbal communication, but also in the written communication as well, and the body language. So keep that in mind, everyone. Back to you, Coach.
Maria, that's a wonderful addition and so true. I hear many complaints from companies about the tone of the email that they got from their boss. That's awesome, Maria. Next, keep emotions under control. So Coach Wooden is asked in this next video, what do you do if you're talking to a group and they're not listening to you, they're showing they're not interested, they don't want to hear what you have to say? How should you act? Coach Wooden.
Don't get upset at them. Don't get upset at them. No matter what, don't get upset. I think there's where we tend to make our mistakes, and we get upset. We let emotion takes over. And when emotion takes over reason, it goes the other way. So I think you have to keep your emotions under control and let them know that you're just trying to help and in different ways. And there's no formula because they're all different.
So this really speaks to me because when people get upset and angry, it's usually a result of some kind of conflict at hand. And one of the, I guess, best practices that I have, that others have told me, and what I've read and what I try to practice is that 5-second rule. It's really just that pause when you hear something and it makes you so angry, to really just pause, stay silent, count to 5 to gather your thoughts, and then respond. Breathe. And there's also what we call care. Respond with care. Communicate. Allow others to talk and to talk it out. Actively listen to why they're upset and articulate maybe what is concerning from your side as well. Third, the R is review the options. And the E is we all try to end with a win-win situation that benefits both sides. Okay, so keep the care in mind with any conflict or any situation that might anger you, to just pause, breathe, and respond with care. Back to you, Coach.
Maria, I think that CARE acronym is fantastic. I'm going to use that for myself in the future. Coach Wooden is next asked, How did he keep his teams focused and motivated when they were winning all the time and everyone was telling them how great they are when things are going well? Coach Wooden.
Coach Wooden, once again, as everyone said, thank you for coming. On behalf of Bruin 15, my question is, during your team's winning streak of consecutive victories, consecutive championships, was it difficult to maintain the team's motivation and focus during that streak? If it wasn't, or if it was, how were you able to do so?
Yes, it was difficult. And I must have been able to do so because it happened. But it's never easy. It's like I've often said that there's two things in life that are most difficult with which to cope. One is having too much, and the other is having too little. I'd much rather cope with the former than the latter. And but you have to make them. I try to teach. Yesterday is gone forever. It'll never change. Tomorrow is yet to be. Can you affect tomorrow? Yes. How? Today. What's important? Today. Today is the important today. You've got to get them to concentrate on today. Forget the past. Forget the alumni that are patting on the back and telling them how good they are and all that. Forget that. Let that run off your back like water off a duck's back. Forget that. Today is the day, the important thing.
I love that. And one of my favorite lines that I use is be the duck, be the duck. Let the water roll off your back, right? It's water under the bridge. It's happened. Move on. Think about how you can change the future, not dwell on the past, right? I tell my kids here, it's, you know, when life gives you lemons, what do? You make lemonade out of the lemons. Add some sugar, add some water. And if that doesn't work, maybe add a little vodka. No, just kidding. So, but that does, you know, let it go, breathe and move on and see how you can change the future. Back to you, Coach.
Coach Marie, you're giving me great coaching today. I'm going to be the duck. Quack, quack. Exercise emotional balance. Avoid peaks and valleys. This helps avoid stress. Coach Wooden is asked how he was able to get his players not to collapse under the stress of a big game or the stress of having to win all the time. Coach Wooden?
And also, how did you cope with stress before a game, and how did you help relieve the stress of the players on the team?
By not talking too much about being a big game. I never talked too much about the opposition. As Bill Walton said, sometimes they had to get the manager run out by a program so they could find out who they're playing. You're trying to relieve my pressure. I wanted every game to be the same, whether it was just the first game of the season or if you're playing for the national championship. It's a game. I tried not to put any pressure on them. I had things that I tried to do. I never wanted excessive exaltation when we won a ball game, and I didn't want excessive dejection if we did not win a ball game. I wanted you can be dejected. You look in the mirror and you know whether you can feel good or whether you feel bad, regardless of the score. I tried to get that across. I tried to avoid peaks and valleys. I think for every peak there's a valley, but I didn't want peaks and valleys. I wanted to stay as close to an even keel. Yeah, I can't stay on perfect even, you know. And then you're going up. You want to go up all the time, but it's not going to be like that. It's going to be you're going to be knocked back a little. You have to go up again, but you never quit.
I love that. You know, avoiding those peaks and valleys of expression can really help stabilize your stress level, is what he's talking about. Not talking too much about the competition, but it really reminds me of his quote, Coach Impleman, that winning is the byproduct of the preparation. It's ongoing and maximum progress. That's the standard. It's being the best you can be always, right? It doesn't matter who you're playing. That doesn't matter, right? Focus on you and your game and your preparation. And that's how you end up winning. Back to you, Coach.
Maria, that's a great point. For John Wooden, if he was working with UBS, there'd be no big presentations because every presentation would be important. Set the tone early. I'm going to skip down to dismissing players. When Coach Wooden kicked a player out of practice, it was not emotional. Fred, you don't have it today. Take a shower. See you tomorrow. It was described as intense, stern, but not emotional. The coaches' meetings with his assistant coaches, very intense. Coach loved intensity. He did not like emotion. And he wanted contradictory ideas from his assistant coaches, because when they argued with him and were kind of saying what he was saying was completely wrong, he thought that was great because they were as passionate about putting the best team on the floor as he was. And at game time, coach is going to talk about, it started with the way he let the players run onto the court, under control, bristling with intensity, but under control. Not anyway. Coach, tell us about how those players went on the floor.
And I didn't want to come rushing out of the dressing room, knocking people down to get out on the floor. I wanted you to not get hurt on the way out. I wanted you to go out quietly and get warmed up to play. That's what they're out there for. And that was my feeling. I didn't believe in emotions. I think when emotion takes over, I think reason flies out the window. I think I, as a teacher, if I let emotion take over, I'm not going to make reasonable decisions. I may be wrong, but I want to be wrong just because I don't know any better, not because I let emotion take over and cause me to make a particular decision.
Wow, Coach, that really reminds me of where we are in this industry, and all the financial advisors that I work with can also relate. You know, the best practices here, when the markets are constantly writing up and writing down, and it's really those successful FAs, the advisors, who can help keep their clients calm in these volatile times. We've definitely had our share of peaks and valleys with the market, and you know, it just really proves the value of financial advice and working with a professional financial advisor. And they are supposed to be, and the best ones are always calm, cool, and collected. And individual investors have a track record of doing poorly poorly with their investments because they get too emotional. They tend to sell at the bottom and buy at the top, right? And if they let their emotions get the best of them with the market, so they're not disciplined. And so again, working with the financial advisor is one way to help clients maintain their self-control. And then when there's, as Coach Wooden said, when he gets challenged or when there's disagreement, it's okay to respectfully disagree, but maintain that control as well. So that's what we're facing here in this business. So those are great points that he had to reflect upon. Thanks. Back to you, Coach.
Maria, that's a great point. We were talking about Coach Wooden had to keep his players calm, and the reps at UBS have to keep their clients calm because that's their team. That's a fantastic analogy. Good judgment and common sense are essential. John Wooden did not like and would not tolerate look at me behaviors. In sports, taunting, excessive celebrations. Let's hear how the coach felt about all that.
Well, one thing that disturbs me today is taunting. We didn't used to have that. You might have an individual once in a while to get out of line, but I see so much taunting, and I see it at all levels. And that disappoints me. I hate to see it. And very frankly, I blame the coaches for that. You put them on the bench and they'll stop. So I blame the coaches for that. That's one thing that bothers me. And the celebration. You see them celebrating. Gracious sakes alive. They come in there, make a fancy dunk and twist around and get in there, and you'd think, by golly, they just saved the world or something. I don't think that's good sportsmanship.
I agree with Coach Wooden. That is not very good sportsmanship, you know, ruffling your feathers and boasting around the office. It's really, you know, the culture of the branch and the culture of the advisors team it's a team that wins. And so no one person really should be, standing out too much. And we can all use a little bit more humility in our lives and with our team members as well. So, when there's branch recognition, when there's, industry recognition, use the stage to really thank your team members, right? Because it really takes a team and a whole group to succeed. So that's definitely something to reflect upon and to remember. Thanks. Back to you, Coach.
That's a great point for great teamwork, Maria. John Wooden is asked to talk about the coach who influenced him the most. Piggy Lambert, Hall of Famer, was his coach at Purdue. Great character, great principles. You're going to hear John Wooden describe his college coach, Piggy Lambert. And I guess the question is, how would your team members describe you? Here's what Coach said about his coach.
My college coach. He has high principles as any coach that's ever coached. Very high principled man. Way ahead of his time, and had control. He was a real competitor, but he had definite control at all times.
John Wooden's high school coach was Glenn Curtis, legendary Hall of Fame coach. Gyms in Indiana, high school basketball, everyone's going crazy. Curtis always calm, and he learned from Glenn Curtis, his high school coach, how to drown out the noise. Coach is talking about what he told the players when they complained about people waving things when they were shooting free throws, and then, of course, takes it to the next level. Coach Wooden?
And that's a weakness on their part, and that's what I tried to tell them. That's a weakness on your part. Like I complain about, well, they're waving things under the basket, we're shooting free throws. I say, it bothers you, huh? Yeah. They're not going to block the shot. They're not going to cover that basket. If you let things like that bother you, maybe you'd be better off sitting over by me. Things are going to bother you. There's no question about it. But your strength is how you react to frustrations and things of that sort. Like I've said, that you're going to get criticism that's not deserved. And you'll get deserved, you won't like it. You'll get praise that's not deserved. And some deserve, you'll like it. But your strength as an individual is the way you react to both praise and criticism. And let's sing that, the way you react to adversity. That's going to determine what kind of a person you are. You've got to accept things. You've got to do what you know, what you've been trained to do, what you're capable of doing. And when you let these other things keep you from executing according to your own individual, that's your weakness. That's your weakness. And don't come blaming me on something else. Don't make it. Dad said, don't whine, don't complain, don't make excuses. Just do the best you can. That's the advice my dad gave me. My brother's he gave 2 sets of 3s. One was don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. And the other was don't whine, don't complain, don't make excuses. Just do the best you can. So that's the way I would try to bother about those things. Don't let them bother you. It's a weakness. Are you weak? Don't be weak.
Oh, I love it. Don't be weak, right? Don't let them get under your skin. People are going to try to push your buttons. They have probably tried to push your buttons all through life, right? And they're going to continue. Certain people just love getting under others' skins. So it's really just a matter of focus, keeping your eye on the ball. And in our industry, your ball is your personal, your professional, as well as your life goals, right? When the going gets tough, the tough get going. And it's all about grit and focus, persistence, and confidence in yourself. You know you can do it. You know you can make that basket. Let them wave all they want behind you because you can just drown it out. You don't even see them, right? So I like keeping the eye on the ball and pursue what matters. Back to you, Coach.
I got the great Coach Maria, Coach Wooden combo now for myself. Don't be weak. Don't let him push your buttons. I love it. How you act, the example that you set, is how your team will act. Coach Wooden, take it away. Great video clip.
I tried to teach that the players that if you lose your temper, you're going to be outplayed. I always felt that if I lose my temper as a coach, what could my players say about me if I'm telling them if they'll lose their temper, they're going to be outplayed? So I made it a point to always keep calm. I don't know how to say it. I guess I would. I taught 40 years, high school and college, and during that length of time, I had 2 technicals called on me in 40 years. I really only one. But they thought I said something, and I didn't. There was somebody close to me that said it. And I didn't believe it. But it was called on me, so I had 2. I felt, and I feel today, and this is contrary to what we see, a lot of coaches, they're very apparently successful from, at least if you look at, if you judge the won or lost, which I don't, but that they're wild. They're up and down all the time. I tried never to be on my feet unless the clock is stopped. Then, okay, and never go beyond my bench. And now you see him up and down. Gracious sakes, the last game I ever played, the opposing coach, the coach at the University of Kentucky, I was shaking hands with him half a dozen times. And his bench was way down there. At one time I had to look around to see the game, because he was in my way. So I just feel that you have to control. If you're going to think properly and things are going to come up quickly that you need to see and make a change, you have to keep your emotions under control. I just believe that and tried to do it.
Wow. Okay, first of all, Coach, I would love to know what he said that he didn't say to get that one technical. But you can circle back later on that. But really, temper, temper is dangerous. It can certainly backfire on you. And it's really hard to undo. We have our delete on our keyboard. We have recalls on the emails being sent. But when you're say something to somebody and it's with temper, it can really backfire on you. It's really hard to undo that and take it back. So think about that. Again, remember the 5-second rule. Just pause, count to 5, and try to maintain and try to get composure. Use the care, respond with care, right? Communicate, actively listen, look at some options, review some options, and end with that win-win on both sides here. And another best practice here at work that I've seen is, temper can also be present in email communication. So if somebody says something, you just want to reply and start typing away that answer, boom, I didn't do that, or whatever it was, you're accusing me, maybe send it to yourself first, and then take a little bit of time and then revisit what you sent yourself. And you'll often find that maybe you'd like to modify that and tone it down a little bit and maybe make it a little bit more positive or neutral before sending it out for real. Okay. Back to you, Coach.
Thank you, Maria. We're trying to get our team from one ledge to the other to be productive. We have to have that bridge with these 2 great ballasts underneath it: self-discipline and emotions under control, with just the right balance. Remember, intensity is good. Emotions not under control are bad. Remember that Coach Wooden wrote this: early in my career, the errors were common. They were fewer as my emotional control became more disciplined. That's a pretty strong statement from Coach. A leader defined by intensity is a stronger leader. A leader ruled by emotions is weak. The team vulnerable. Emotion, anger, your enemies. When you feel emotion, subtract the anger, keep the intensity, focus your intensity on your performance, not the expectations of others. The goal, be intense, but not tense. Right here, we have the right amount there, right in the middle. The right amount of self-discipline, following the plan, the right amount of emotions, intense, but not tense. We have a great questionnaire for you this month. As always, it's in your workbook, and I hope you'll take the time to do it. You know our process. You go through, you score yourself on it. Doing it with your children, with coworkers is a great tool. Pick out one that you like. And I picked out this idea of when the pressure's on, setting a great example. Wonderful set of quotes to use. The all-time standard 71, discipline yourself and others won't need to. That's a great cultural thing to have. So there's my 2 for the month. I hope you work on these and improve in some small way. Work on the habits, take the quote, move forward, keep working on it. Trivia question. 10 laminated pyramids. Now, that's some good dollar value. Look it up on the website. What was the name of John Wooden's high school coach? Let Maria know. You've got your tool book. You got the Wooden's Wisdom Leadership Library, 516 issues in there. You're going to get a 61-page workbook with about 30 articles. The tools are there. You just, I don't mean to be rude. You have to use them. And I hope that you do. I'm here for you 24/7. I love being on this team. Call me anytime. Coach Maria, back to you.
Thank you so much, Coach Empelman. We are going to be focused and working on self-control this month. So thank you so much for all of the great video clips and the insight and the interpretation from John Wooden. And we really appreciate it. And for you advisors out there, please use all of these resources in your weekly team huddles, in your daily kind of reflections before and after the workday. And we hope that as we climb the pyramid of success, we all get to enjoy the view at the top. So with that, thank you again, Coach Empelman, and
My pleasure.
we'll see you later, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Thanks.